For a large chunk of this year, San Francisco has been without one of their best players on the defensive side of the ball, losing Talanoa Hufanga to a torn ACL earlier in the year. Despite this though, the rookie safety Jair Brown has been able to step into the starting lineup, and this defense really hasn't missed a beat. But with Brown and Gibson out week 18 with injuries, we gotta see a glimpse at San Francisco's backup safeties, who could easily start in the playoffs: Logan Ryan and Taylor Hawkins. And while we've seen plenty of Logan Ryan throughout his career, Taylor Hawkins made his NFL debut, and let me tell you, this guy is a real baller with the opportunity to make a name for himself in this league. In this most recent LA Rams game, he was an absolute ball hawk, snagging an interception, but from what I can tell, this has been Hawkins throughout his young career. Starting out with his athletic profile, Taylor Hawkins comes in at 6'1", 205 pounds, and he has a respectable 40-yard time for a safety of 4.53 seconds. Taylor Hawkins wasn't always a safety though. He actually started out playing corner and wide receiver at Palm Springs High School. Across his time with Palm Springs High School, he put up 94 receptions for 1,915 yards and 25 touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, in just 3 years, he had 133 tackles, 14 passes deflected, and 9 interceptions. After wrapping up his time in high school, he was a 3-time All-Selection for his conference, and he was a 3-star recruit according to 24/7 Sports. He had offers from San Diego State, Arizona State, San Jose State, Washington, and Washington State. Ultimately, Taylor Hawkins decided to commit to San Diego State, and as a freshman in 2016, he appeared in 10 games and recorded 5 tackles. The next year, he played in 13 games, 5 as a starter, and had 35 tackles and 5 pass breakups. In 2019 as a junior, Hawkins played in 9 games and had 30 tackles. In 2020 as a senior, he saw a switch in position, going from corner to safety. On this year, he had his first interception as well as 37 tackles. In 2021, he moved back to corner. And this last season at corner for Hawkins was by and far his best. In 2021, he had 62 tackles, 13 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions, while also being ranked the second best coverage defensive back nationally by PFF. He was also chosen to PFF's Mountain West Team of the Year. After wrapping up his final year in 2021 with the Aztecs, Hawkins decided to commit to the 2022 NFL Draft. And during his pro day, Taylor Hawkins ran his 40-yard time in 4.53 seconds. So with all this information, scouts could really dive a little bit deeper into Hawkins and decided where they thought he fit in this draft. And well, the news wasn't great for Hawkins. They questioned Hawkins' ability to cover in the pros, mainly due to his lackluster 40-yard time. He also didn't put up the greatest production on the field, and they also questioned his ability to be a short tackler. But that's not all they noticed about Hawkins. During the 2021 season, they saw a corner who was one of the best defensive backs across the entire nation. He really locked down basically everyone he went against. But because of his lackluster 40-yard time of 4.53 seconds, many scouts questioned where Hawkins actually fit in the secondary. He played corner most of his career, but he didn't have the speed. During Hawkins' first year with San Francisco, the glimpses of greatness we saw during his senior year with the Aztecs were once again seen on the field during the preseason. But nonetheless, San Francisco decided to cut Hawkins during their final roster cuts this year. During this year, the 2023 season, Hawkins once again made a push for the 53-man roster, but once again didn't make it. But in this most recent game against the LA Rams, Hawkins made his NFL debut, and I think there was a lot to be encouraged about. So let's go ahead and look at his film. Starting out early in this film, I was pretty encouraged to see Taylor Hawkins do what many scouts said he wouldn't be able to do in the NFL, and that was be an aggressive tackler. And here, I love how Taylor Hawkins reads this play and then shoots. You don't see hesitation, and this really helps Yamador Lenore get this back down. Moving on to Taylor Hawkins' best play of the day though, this is his interception. What I want to focus on is how Taylor Hawkins immediately reads that the quarterback is going this direction with the ball. And as you can tell, Taylor Hawkins triggering early on in this play helps him be in perfect position for this interception. There are some players with just great instincts to be around the ball. Talanoa Hufanga, Jair Brown, Deshaun Gibson, and maybe now it looks like San Francisco found another ball hawk safety in Taylor Hawkins. But maybe more impressive for me of Taylor Hawkins' most recent game against the LA Rams was his willingness to go up and tackle. On this play, for instance, Hawkins is playing this like a linebacker. He takes his read step and immediately shoots when he notices it's a run. You really couldn't ask more out of a corner going to the safety position. Hawkins, coming out of college, most notably was best at zone coverage, and here playing zone coverage on this tight end, Hawkins couldn't play it any better. He gets to the tight end as soon as the ball's arriving and lays out a pretty massive hit. A second earlier, and this definitely would have been a PI on Hawkins, I was pretty impressed by this heads-up play for an NFL debut. Overall, in Taylor Hawkins' first start, I was pretty impressed. Was everything perfect? No, definitely not. He gave up a few big passes, as well as giving up that 2-point conversion. But as I watched Taylor Hawkins in this LA Rams game, he doesn't look like an undrafted free agent. Rather, he looks like a pretty solid backup. I know he's no Jair Brown or Talanoa Hufanga, but often these are the guys that get your team over the hump, because you're just a play away from losing Jair Brown or Tashaun Gipson. And by having a guy like Taylor Hawkins and Logan Ryan on the bench, this allows your secondary to be much more secure in case of injuries. So for me in the future, I wouldn't be surprised to see Taylor Hawkins continue to take on an expanded role. Say for instance next year, if Tashaun Gipson doesn't come back, Taylor Hawkins may be able to develop into the backup safety for Talanoa Hufanga and Jair Brown. But ultimately, these are just my thoughts on Hawkins' NFL debut, and I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you liked and subscribed, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.